All right, check, check, check. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. My name's Ian. I'm broadcasting live tonight from North Fort Myers, and we are broadcasting live from the Starship Studios, minus one computer that's down tonight, but I think I can get it going again. Let's see here. We've got lots of different things going on tonight, but nothing really major. We're going to go through everything one at a time, and so we can show you guys what is and what is not going on. All right, so in the large screen, we've got the latest model runs coming in of Invest 94 Lima. This is the one that everybody is talking about. This is Invest 94L, and this one here has the potential to bring a hurricane somewhere into the continental United States. Now, I got good news and I got bad news. The bad news is it's looking more and more likely that someone's going to get this storm and it's going to be a landfall. The good news is it's out of time, it's out of real estate, and it's out of conditions. There's no way I don't believe that it's going to be able to produce a major hurricane. I think we're talking about a 1 is what it's looking like, a category 1. Now, I don't know about y'all in South Carolina, but down here in Florida, we do category 1s. We sleep through those. So we'll just sleep through those. No big deal. I'm kind of kidding and I'm kind of not lately. I mean, if the water's not coming in the front door and I didn't need to board up the house, I'm just going to sleep through it. All right, let's see here. We don't even board up for ones. We're far enough inland, I don't board up for anything less than a 3 here. But, and at my mom's house, she's a little closer, but yeah, about a 3 they board up over there. And of course, we were all boarded for Ian. We were all boarded for Ian, and we were boarded for the next 2 as well, both here and there. But it was rising water that got her over there. All right, so anyway, upper right corner, that guy is supposedly going to an ice protest that's in progress in LA. I don't need to tell you guys. We do this sometimes with this guy, and I don't know. I think it's a different guy, and he's walking instead of riding. I don't know. I'm going to let it go for a little while. We're going to see what happens. Up in center up there for just a little while, I've got Times Square. I got Fox News Raw up there on the left. That's just basically an internet feed of the same stuff they're doing on Fox. And it's I just got that up right now. I don't leave that up all night. And then below that, we are flipping around to 50 webcams around the world. And there you go. I searched for any protests going on in the U.S. and found nothing. No links to any protesting or anything like that going on in the United States. So if anybody finds anything, let me know. All right, let's see. Red, Junior, Bill. James Comey indicted. That is correct. James Comey has been indicted for lying under oath, and we'll see what happens with that. Regardless of which side's prosecuting and which side's defending, it doesn't seem like these people ever really get in that much real trouble. But we'll see what happens with this one. Yeah. All right, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Come on in the chat room and let us know. This tool I'm using over here is really cool, and you guys know I always let you look and peek behind the curtain. Here's the link. It is a really cool tool that is now available for everybody to use over on. It's a Google tool. So there you go. It's one of their science tools. Yeah, I do too, Red. She's hit and miss. I like her, but she's hit and miss. Sometimes she doesn't do a very good job. All right, or at least that's the appearance. Whatever. All right, so I want to talk about a couple things tonight. I'm going to stay as long as I can with you guys. I am I'm not well. Something medically is wrong with me. I was so fatigued last night, I just gave up on it. I couldn't do it. Did you guys see on Discord? I put up a big sticker. Stick. I'm sick. I can't do it. Um, yeah, I was done. And I'm done tonight too, but I'm going to try to stick it out here and do an hour or two. But anyway, the point is I'm trying to. Here's what I have for topics tonight. We're going to deep dive what's going on in the tropics, and we're going to do that next in just a couple of minutes. So stay with us. Then after that, we're going to go through real quick all the other science and breaking news stuff that we normally cover here. Remember, really light on politics, heavy on science. And I'm going to try to find some interesting, I've already got some interesting stuff to tell you guys about tonight. Then I want to talk, I want to do a couple of polls. I want to wait till we get maybe 20, 30, 40 people in here. And I want to do a poll tonight on if if a drunk driver killed your mom or your grandma or your wife, someone you really care about, could you forgive them? That's a. I've had a problem with this. I just read an article Tim Allen wrote. He watched Charlie Kirk's wife say that she forgave the young man that took her husband. I was in tears when it happened. We were covering it live here. Of course, I wasn't talking. I was letting you guys hear the audio, but I was in tears. That woman was so strong, and it inspired me. You know, no, I'm not going to church on Sundays or anything, but it inspired me to get closer to religion and to get back to spirituality. I'm very spiritual. I may not be really religious, but I'm very spiritual. And I believe in reincarnation, I believe in the afterlife, and I do believe there's truth to every religion, and I do believe in Jesus Christ. So I think it's important to point all that out. Does that make me a cafeteria Catholic or whatever? Yeah, probably. But that's where I'm at, and I just think it's fair that you guys know that. But when I watched her say that, it hit me hard too. It really did. And it made me really think about and reevaluate things. Could I forgive someone for taking someone that's really close to me? And I don't know. I really have a hard time with this one. I'm not a real vindictive person. You know, there's been a couple times in life where I got somebody back really good months later. Because as the Klingon proverb says, revenge is a dish that is best served cold. But that being said, for the most part, I'm not a very vindictive person. I don't do a lot of things like I don't get revenge or things like that. And but I also, I'm not a big forgiver. I can hate for a long time. And I think I need to work on that. I do. And so I want to just mention this later. And I want to do a poll in a little while where I ask you guys, could you forgive? And I'm telling you, if you search your soul and really think about it, could you forgive? I don't know. I'm still working on it, but hey, there it is. All right, we're going to get back to that in just a few minutes, but first, I want to go ahead and take a little ride, take a little trip over to Radar Omega. Here we go. There's Radar Omega. We don't have a lot going on tonight. There's only a few areas of slight problems tonight. It's not a real big deal. I am going to go ahead and switch over to the multi-site radar. And there you go. That's what's going on tonight. The storm that's sitting down here, there's actually a storm sitting down here. Oh, I can't do it with that big pen, but I can do it with this. Here we go. This new storm is sitting right about here right now. and we don't really know exactly where it's going to go. But this one here is going to definitely pull off. It's expected to be a major hurricane through part of it, but it should pull left of Bermuda enough, even though Bermuda will be on the bad side. It'll only be a Cat 2 at that point, so hopefully Bermuda will be okay. They're pros out there, man. They're pros, I'm telling you. When it comes to hurricanes, Bermuda wrote the book. Look at them out there. Nobody gets hit like Bermuda, and they're always ducking them left, right. It's like the shuck and jive out there. Anyway, this storm is sitting here, and right now we are looking at some models that want to take it off in this direction. A number of models want to take it like this and come right up against or right on shore. And then there's others that take it up into the Carolinas like that. And yet a few outliers that keep it offshore. So we're not sure exactly what this thing's going to do. That's the bad news. Looks like somebody in the U.S. is going to get a really close brush or a hit. Here's the good news. The conditions are not that favorable out here. And there's not a lot of time. In 3 days, this thing's going to be wherever it's going to be. So, chances are, in 3 or 4 days, while it makes its run here, the conditions are just not that good out in this area right here. So depending on where it goes and how fast it moves, these are some of the things we're going to have to watch as far as how strong it's going to be when it actually arrives. Let's go on over to Mike's weather page. You guys know I always use Mike's weather page. He went down today for a little while. It wasn't his fault. It was a use of service thing. The new model run came out. The 16Z model run came out. And there was me and about 200,000 other people waiting to see it. And we all clicked refresh at the same time. And it literally took his server down. They got it back up in about 45 minutes. No, Victor, I haven't checked that yet, but that would probably come up when I do my space weather, but we'll see. I mean, I'll check it out. Mike is live now. That's cool. Yeah, Mike's weather page, is that live? That looks like this morning's Daily Brew. He might be live on Facebook or something too. Anyway, the point is here's the latest, some of the latest spaghetti models. There's one that's, well, they all take it into the United States pretty much. So we got our first storm here. It took a while. Now this one here, let me get my Epic pen up. I need to just set that Epic pen to auto start with the computer. I don't normally like anything auto starting, but I think I might make an exception for the pen. Okay, here we go. Okay, notice that you've got 4 or 5 outliers over here. And you got 4 or 5 outliers over here and a couple of wild ones here. But for the most part, everything has got it right here between the Outer Banks and somewhere in South Carolina. Some of these darker lines here are showing 970 to 960 millibars. So coming in as a Cat 3, Cat 2, Cat 2 or 3. So that's the consensus is that it's going to be at 987, dropping down to, I don't know what, probably 985, 984. That's simply a Category 1 hurricane. Like I said, all we're expecting here is a strong tropical storm or a Cat 1. I want to make sure everybody understands is we're not looking at a major hurricane here. Getting all fancy with the pin. That's right. I love getting fancy with the pen. All right, so there's this one we just looked at. Let me turn the pen off so I can navigate here. Here's the third set. These are all over the place. Still about about half of them bring it on shore, and about half of them don't. That's the GEPS. Let's go ahead and look. Here's some of the intensity modeling. You can see this is the important thing to take away from tonight is most of the models peak out at tropical storm strength. Remember, down here, these are the hours going this way, and these are the wind speeds going this way. And so basically, when we get out to 84 and 96 hours, what we're looking at here is almost all of the models, all but three, show it as a tropical storm, not as a hurricane. Only three models show it as a hurricane. That's significant right there because again the modeling is not it's not comfortable in thinking that this thing is going to strengthen up very much. So that's kind of the good news there. I do want to go back over here. Let's run some of the models. These are the I'm trying to see which okay, these are the 18Z model runs. So these are the ones that would have run earlier, so we haven't gotten the latest ones yet, so I might check back here before we get off. But anyway, let's run this forward now. What you have here, this is the storm we've already been tracking. This is the one that just got its name, and it's going to do the alley-oop. And then where we're going to be watching is this blob right here is what we're watching. That's basically where the action's going to happen. That's the Action Jackson right there. All right, so then we go back to here and let's load this, run it forward. There we go. We've got some kind of some genesis there. There we go, 999 millibars as it goes over Nassau, Bahamas. We got 998, 995, and then it takes it into right there on the North and South Carolina line, but as a minimal hurricane or a strong tropical storm. I mean, that's really, and then it just kind of goes back out and washes out. All right, so that is the American model. Let's run the Euro. The Euro is usually one of the more conservative models. And let's see where it goes. All right, it brings it up, it builds it up. What was the last reading on that? 998. So again, a tropical storm coming into the Carolinas, not a hurricane. Meanwhile, we've got out here what could be a Cat 3 hurricane out further out. This is an unlikely scenario. Generally, you don't see two low pressure centers that close together. All right, so let's go run this back. Let's go down. Here's the Canadian model. It always runs a little left. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it runs a little right. But anyway, so let's take a look at this and see what we got. It builds it up into the 990s. Look at that. It wants to roll these two around each other and roll them into the same storm. I don't know that I've ever seen a model predict that because it generally doesn't happen. It's not been the experience that this is what happens. This could be an interesting weather phenomenon that happens. That's weird right there. They don't couple. They don't join. They don't. There's no fission or fusion or anything. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't spawn puppies. No. So that's an interesting happenstance right there. I can't wait to see what happens with that. Now let's see. We do have some hurricane models now, I think, that are starting to pick up 94 Lima. Here's one right here. Here's our two storms. This is just a different kind of model that you have to wait till a little later in the process to get. But here you go. There it is, 998, 988 millibars, 986, 982. That's a category 1 for sure. And then what looks like a strengthening storm into the coast. No, get the fuck out of here. I mean, this is a fairly reliable model. It's got that thing sitting there. 982. I mean, that brings it in as about a Cat 2 right there. All right, so and that's the HWRF. So let's go ahead and go. Um, I'm just going to run the time back and go back to hurricane, and let's run this one here. Oh, does it? This one hasn't run it yet. There we go, 94L. Okay, here we go. This is tight, but there's NASA. There's Florida on the left. There's the Space Coast. 980, 986, 988 as it approaches the coast. So there we go. That's a landfalling Cat 1 in South Carolina. No doubt there. Let's see what other ones have it here. No, there we go. 94 Lima. Here we go. This is the HAFS, the B, the parent model, meaning it's the larger view. All right, so and there we go. Doesn't form it that much. 996 brings it in as a tropical storm into South Carolina. This is the American model here. It's just set up the other way, and you can see 996, 993, 991, 989. So that's just basically a Cat 1. So again, that's the good news. I don't think this is going to be any kind of major hurricane. Here's just one more. That brings it in a little further north at 991 millibars. So I think if I were to say right now, it looks like the South Carolina coast is going to see a tropical storm. I think that's a fairly good bet. Or somewhere Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, probably going to see a tropical storm. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Galactic. In fact, that was mentioned between Matt Devitt, our chief meteorologist at work, and I today. There is a name for the combining. It does not happen. It's a very rare effect. The few that I've seen in my lifetime, all pinwheeled around each other. Um, we'll have to see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yes, and Dominic, I understand when I say just a tropical storm, I understand that we had two hurricanes go by here, but we only got tropical storm force winds here, and it's still both of them flooded my mother's house. So I get it. I get it. And the rain from just a tropical storm can be terrible. So don't take my speech as just a tropical storm. What I'm talking about is we were hit by a Cat 5 3 years ago. So to me, it's just a tropical storm. Like I said, we sleep through those, dude. So that's all I meant by that. No, they can still be pretty bad depending on if they stall out. That's one of the things. If they stall out, they end up dumping a lot of rain in the same spot, and that could be an issue there. Uh, oh, sorry about the yawning, guys. I do this from time to time. All right, so there you go. That's the tropics. Anybody have any other questions or anything else about the tropics. Here's our current look. This is what everybody looks like out there. We've got Gabrielle that is going extra tropical and in its death throes at this point. You've got Humberto. It's going to be going into a phase where it's going to be a major hurricane. Going to pass off to the west of Bermuda, to the east of the mainland of the United States. And then there's your new blob. Notice it's red. It's got like an 80% chance now of formation over the next 48 hours. And you can see it's almost too far over to miss. The further west it goes, it's going to be harder for it to make that hard right turn and get out without hitting something. He's almost drove too far in already. So we'll see. Probably we'll have a name in the morning. And I don't know. They're relatively sure it's not going to hit Florida. But there's a lot of models putting it into Florida. So I don't think they really know what's going to happen. But like I said, it's not that big a deal because it's not going to be a catastrophic storm. Yeah, Red, we are reaching a point here. Our rainy season is drawing to a close. And the next 2 to 3 weeks, as we get into the later months, the later weeks of October, our rainy season completely shuts off. And everything down here turns from green to brown. That's our two seasons, green and brown. And no, but we'll go do quakes in just a minute. Um, well, it's a dud of a year if you don't get hit. But yeah, it does. Here's the thing: it's a much slower year right now, and I think it's interesting that we're coming off of some really busy years. All right, and so when you come off 3 or 4 really busy years, and then you have two kind of dead ass years in a row, which is what we've had. The first half of the last season was a dud, and this whole season's been a dud so far. So yeah, you got like half a season last year, and it's almost like uh, the powers that be are taking the summer off here because I've never seen it like this. Normally, when I was a kid, my big map that I had up on the wall would already have 5 or 6 or 7 storm tracks on it by now. There was a time, I tell you guys how much of a nerd I am, right? That's why I never get laid. But when I was a kid, 10, 12 years old, every year I went down, they gave out maps. And I didn't get the one in the newspaper because it wasn't good enough. I always went down to the library or wherever I had my mom drop me by so I could pick up one of the big glossy maps. And I would take that map, and I had a big cork board up on my wall, and I'd put that map on that cork board, and I would put pins in it. I would draw the storms on it. Every time they would give the coordinates, 37.5 north, minus 28.6, I would go up to the map and I would plot it every single time. I would plot it. Some years I did, I used those colored thumbtacks, and I used a different color for each storm. It was really cool by the end of the year, but then I didn't have any way of saving it. So I switched to where I was putting everything on in ink, and I bought a pack of those like 25 different colored pins, and I was doing each storm in a different color, and it would start way back over here by Africa and come all the way across, and I would always put little numbers so you could see what the pressure. I always put the barometric pressure in millibars, and they didn't always give it in millibars, but I liked it in millibars. So when they would give inches of mercury, I would convert it to millibars. Even though later on I would learn to hate the metrics, I still prefer pressures in millibars over inches of mercury. Anyway, so I was an absolute geek growing up, and there was a point where When I was 15, 16 years old, if you said, wasn't there a storm 4 or 5 years ago? I would pull out the map for that year and open it up and say, yeah, here it was right here. And I had the whole map with all the dates and everything on it. And I would write, like, in different parts of the map that I knew I wasn't going to use, I would write like statistics about the storms. This was what you did before the internet. You had to own your own information, and you had to own your own medium, and that's what I did. I had maps and books, and I used to love that kind of stuff. Oh wow, there we go. A typhoon burst a dam in Taiwan yesterday. Yeah, yeah. You know, a lot of people did that. They'd get the one out of the newspaper or whatever, but I'd always go get the big one, even if I had to pay for it, because every year I kept an entire record of the hurricane season. And you know, the entire time I was growing up, we never got hit. 60? Before I was born in 69. So in 60, that's the last time they got hit here, up until Irma. And then after Irma, we got hit by a bunch of them in a row. And we almost got hit by Charlie. It went up and hit the next county, and we got a lot of damage from Charlie. But, so really, if you look at it, down here, we went like 60 years, 60 plus years without a direct hit in Lee County. And then we get hit by a butthole load of them all at one time. One of them's named after me, the costliest storm to ever hit Florida. And yeah, I'm still pissed about that. They could have named that storm anything. They had to name it my name. And Hurricane Ian was my screen name, so it was kind of like double bad. Um, it really screwed me up. It kind of took that away from me. All right, so anyway, there you go. That's where we're at, and I really don't know what else there is to show you that's really relevant at this point. The sea surface temperatures are down a little bit off the normal highs, and a lot of it will depend on whether the circulation of this new storm stays off the mountains in Hispaniola and Haiti and all that. Some of those along there, even Cuba, some of those countries have some pretty tall mountain ranges, and what'll end up happening is that will inhibit some of the growth. If it stays offshore just a little bit, then it won't have that problem. Guys, there is nothing going on right now. We currently have a few flash flood warnings. And I'm talking little ones. Look at this little teeny one here near Silver City. Nothing. We got this big one here, but it's kind of a weird one. And that's it. There is no severe thunderstorm or severe tornado or anything. There's nothing on the map tonight. We are watching this system here coming through southern Georgia, and it already went through Mobile, coming through Dothan, and about to come through Panama City. That's really the only action on the map tonight. It's really not a lot going on. It's kind of crazy. I doubt there's even any lightning to see. Yeah, whatever. I doubt there's even any lightning to see, guys. It's going to be one of those nights. Yeah, I used to think there was direct correlation between hurricane activity and sunspots. The numbers don't bear it out. Now that AI is getting better and better, I hope to run the numbers again using AI. I would love to find a correlation, high or low. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's in the middle because there's some kind of sympathetic delay like we have with the seasons and all that. Yeah, I know Hurricane Ian, all right. Not the biggest fan. Not the biggest fan. Although I will say, it sure got us ready. I mean, we are ready here. I mean, that's one thing you got to say about us here is we are ready. Oh well, I'll deal with that later. All right, so where are we at here? Yeah, Victor, it's a very difficult thing. Um, she's in a facility 2 counties away. I have to drive an hour and 15 minutes to see her. I'm driving every other day, and that, along with my inability to sleep since this COVID thing again, I have not been able to sleep. I don't know what it is. I've lost my ability to sleep. And I'm not going to get too personal as to exactly what's going on or anything. But I look at me, look at my eyes. They're not even like the same anymore. I haven't slept. I haven't slept right in a week and a half to 2.5 weeks. I can't sleep. And I've tried a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of everything else, if you know what I mean. And I cannot stay asleep. It's killing me. I am using melatonin. I've got a couple other things, but um, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of at a loss as to what to do. And I think a lot of it is because I'm worried about my relative. I think I've had a lot of big changes in my life lately. Um, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I think a lot of it's just me getting used to my new realities, and then some sad things too. You know, just a lot. And then even the Charlie Kirk thing has affected me more than it. Of course, it seems to have been affecting everybody more than anybody expected it to. It's kind of been a pretty weird thing. Um, uh, and I think that's maybe a discussion for another day. But all of this has kind of hammered me, and um, I was telling my coworkers at work today that yesterday and today, I hardly make it through the show. I'm so tired I can barely keep my eyes open. It's just incredible. Um, I think it's stress. I think that's the biggest part of it, and it's stress, but it's also the other physical things that come with the stress. Is all working against me to get a good night's sleep. You could tell my voice isn't right. I don't even, I think I could voice something if I needed to right now, but my voice is like, when I let it relax, it's all gravelly and weird. And I think a lot of that's just because I'm just so tired. So I but I do want to do shows. I want to do this show. I want to keep this going. I had no idea when I said I was going to come on 6 nights a week. I had no idea that I was going to have to put someone that's very special to me in a facility that's an hour and 15 minutes away. And so it's I bit off a little more than I can chew, but I think everything will work itself out. I'm just going to keep staying the course right now. Um, Yeah, Victor, I did a lot of reading when I got up this morning. I spent about an hour researching my problem, trying to figure out what the hell, what do I got to do? What do I got to do to get some damn sleep? Because I'm so tired, I can't keep my eyes open. Yet when I lay down and sleep, I go right to sleep maybe, and then I'm up in an hour. And then I'm up and I'm and I can't sleep and I can't go back to sleep and I can't get comfortable and I'm hot, I'm cold. And it started with COVID. I had kind of this problem the other time I had COVID. When I had COVID the first time, it almost killed me. And my whole face looks swollen up. My eye, this whole eye looks like it's swollen. I don't know. I'm looking at myself in the camera like, oh my God, I shouldn't look at myself in the camera. But anyway, um, yeah, I don't know what it is. My face is swollen up. You can see it. It's weird. I'm hoping that I don't have I'll be honest. When you get to be my age, I'm 56. You start to wonder. I hope I don't have some kind of health problem going on, congestive heart failure, some kind of pulmonary disease. Do I have some kind of thing going on with my circulatory system? What's going on? You know, um, that might work, Red. But if I were to take anything like that, it would come right back up. I don't drink. I can't drink. I physically can't drink, and I thank God for it every day because it's what kept me from being an alcoholic, like all the other men have been in my life. All the other men in my family, up and down the generations, have all been drinkers. Not necessarily all lushes, but all drinkers, and I don't need that. Um, but it's good advice though. Well, Galactic, see that's the problem right there because all I eat is processed food. All right, yeah, all I drink is that cheap shit Mountain Dew, the Mountain Lightning or whatever it is. No, my diet's part of the problem, but I don't know. It's like when I go on the deal and I start trying to drink water, like like in the toilet, and when I start trying to eat things that are like healthy and that are not processed, I begin to really hate my life. And I'm like, I'm not living the rest of my life like this. I would rather eat the shit that I'm eating and just live 5 more years. Because I cannot live eating garbage like drinking water. It's disgusting. Um, yeah, I've been I don't normally deal too much with allergies, but ever since COVID, I got these things here. They're immunosupport gummies, and I started yesterday taking them again. I don't think I have a flu. I've been taking my temperature. Um, yes, Mountain Dew's caffeinated. That's why I started drinking it back in the day because I thought somebody told me it had more caffeine in it than Coke, and then I found out later they basically have the same caffeine. I feel like I'm ripped off. Um, yeah, I don't drink water. I don't drink water in any kind. In that movie Idiocracy that I'm always talking about, it's funny because the guy asks everybody. He goes, "You got a glass of water?" And anybody in the movie that he asks that turns around and goes, "You mean like in the toilet?" So now anytime someone says, "Hey man, you need to drink more water," I'm like, "You mean like in the toilet?" uh, well, in Galactic, here's my problem. I get tired of fruit quick. Number one, number two, I have a limited palate in that area, and number three, down here in Florida with the heat and the humidity and everything, even inside in the air conditioner or even in the fridge, fruit doesn't last that long down here. I get a bag of grapes, 5 days later they're half rotten. Um, Dominic, I agree with that. I do agree with that. When my stomach's not feeling good, I can tell you the rest of my life is shit. Um, but no, I completely agree with you on that. My biggest problem is my diet. I'm sure it is, but there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I have worked on it. I've dropped my starches down to almost nothing. I'm eating almost all red meat, chicken, and vegetables, and that's it. My butter is all. I eat a lot of butter, but it's all Brummel and Brown, which is made from yogurt. It's not butter; it's yogurt butter. And I also um, I'm reducing slowly the amount of like TV dinners I'm eating. Like frozen dinners. I've got about 6 or 7 up there. I do every 2 or 3 days. I'll pull out a frozen dinner, a Salisbury steak and green beans or whatever, and stick it in and eat that. But I really am trying to get away from that because that's all processed, really highly processed. Um, and so I'm really trying to get towards stuff like I buy 2 or 3 pounds of ground beef, and tonight I this is gonna sound crazy, but to save money, I stopped by Burger King and I got me a large fry, and then I drove home and I cooked me a hamburger and sat here and ate my hamburger and the fries. All I wanted was their fries. I wanted to make my own hamburger here with my fresh hamburger. So that's what I did. Um, yeah, I don't know. What I do is kind of like the keto diet, but it's not. I don't. It's mostly red meat that's cooked properly. I do drain the grease off pretty good. Um, if it's real greasy, I'll even pat it dry a little bit. I use a lot of fresh cracked pepper and a lot of Everglades seasoning. This is my recommendation always for seasoning is Everglades seasoning. Been using it down here for 35 years. It's not a paid product endorsement. I actually use the product. Yes, my mom and dad both did the fish oil supplement for a while, and they swear it helps. Um, yeah, I've been even looking at some gallbladder treatments where I start taking 2 tablespoons of olive oil or some bullshit twice a day for 3 or 4 days, and it's supposed to help clean out your gallbladder and stuff. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. My gallbladder's a mess; it needs to come out. But I know 2 people, including my mother, who almost died getting theirs taken out, and I'm just not a big fan of getting mine taken out. Um, Yeah, I don't eat eggs much. I got a can of corned beef hash up there. If I can, next time someone walks down, I kind of live in a slightly rural area, and sometimes my neighbors will actually walk up to the fence and say, "Hey, you want some eggs?" So I literally bought a can of corned beef hash, and it's sitting back there waiting for one of my neighbors to go, "Hey, you want some eggs?" uh, I like to keep so many cans of meat type stuff here. I also keep it up there at the cabin. I've got stashed away up there about 50 or 60 cans. And then up in the house part, I've got about another 25 or so cans. Lots of meat, lots of spam, and corned beef hash. And I just like to, for the survival stuff. I'm not a big, huge, oh my God, at the end of the world. But I do want to say if I can make it to my cabin, I do have enough stuff there for a while. I don't know. Uh, carbs are what gets you. I'm telling you something. I've cut the starch out. No more noodles. I don't do spaghetti noodles much anymore. I do about once a week. I do a skyline chili. I buy the frozen skyline chilies and I buy the sharp cheddar and the hot sauce and everything. That's a weakness of mine. But for the most part, I've gotten away from the noodles, the rice. I don't need it. When I was a kid, that was my favorite part of the meal was the gravy and the noodles and the rice and stuff. But I'm learning that you don't need it. You know what I like is I've been buying these steam in the bag vegetables. When you open my freezer, there's like 20 of them in there. Spinach, peas, green beans, um, broccoli and cauliflower. Um, the broccoli every day I have a bag of broccoli, and I have a bag of spinach. I have a bag of peas, and then when I don't eat quite the whole bag, then eventually I'll go mix them all up and make another bowl of different vegetables. I absolutely love my frozen vegetables, and I eat every twice a day pretty much. I eat a frozen vegetable. And then I have either chicken or beef. Yeah, the only canned vegetables that I eat with any regularity is green beans. I actually prefer them sometimes. I kind of go back and forth. Canned green beans, frozen green beans. Everything else I prefer frozen. I'll eat canned peas, but I much prefer frozen peas. Hey, Callie. Callie, I sent you that list of Star Trek episodes. If you didn't get them, let me know. Oh, that's cool, Junior. Yeah, I did that list of Star Trek ones. Um, I like, I really like to help people get into Star Trek that have never gotten into it before. Um, I actually like collard greens a little better than mustard greens, but they both have to have pepper sauce. Galactic, I normally prefer canned green beans. The steam in the bag green beans, frozen green beans, sometimes they're a little tough. Sometimes they don't come out like I like them. Okay, yeah, good. Let me know how it goes. You can start right off with that number one. That's my favorite episode in the whole world, the Doomsday Machine. Moby Dick in space. Um, Mustard greens and collard greens are very good. You got to have the hot. If I don't have the hot sauce though, I'll pass. Okay, now see, we just went kale, zucchini, cucumbers, kale. You can keep all that. Cantaloupe, you can keep all that. I don't do melons. I don't do melons, and I certainly don't do zucchini. Oh my God, that's nasty shit. I've had Brussels sprouts. My dad used to like Brussels sprouts. I'm not much on them, but I would eat a few of them if they were buttery and salted. Oh, that's cool. You guys are gardening. I'm too busy, fat, and lazy. Yeah, Victor, there's been a bunch. I watched one earlier too. I might have been the same one you watched, um, where they were talking about Wolf 359. That's gone down in history as like this epic battle. And what was so cool about it, um, it was the best of both worlds season finale two parter, and it was when the Borg attacked here. They came to Earth, and um, they got past the Enterprise, and then they set up an armada to stop them before they could get to Sector 001. And they set it up at Wolf 359. And that cube came in and destroyed 40 starships. Um, yeah, I'm going to do the poll. Yeah, I'm going to talk. I'm going to get going pretty soon, so I'll talk about that next. Um, so, yeah, anyway, there's been people that have gone back and they've used footage and sound that they were able to find, plus AI and CG and different things, and they've gone back and they're trying to rebuild that battle. And there's been games that have gone back to it. And remember, uh, um, the first time we actually saw the battle, because the Enterprise pulled up and everything was over with. The first time we saw the battle, does anybody remember? It was in the two-part um, opening episode of Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine starts on Ben Sisko's ship and at Wolf 359. And the ship gets destroyed, his wife gets killed, and he and his son end up on a shuttle pod that is jettisoned from the ship. And as it's being jettisoned, you can see the ship exploding. That's a powerful scene right there. But anyway, yeah, so uh, Yeah, the Battle of Wolf 359. I think I have the best of both worlds on that list, but if not, that would be another good one for the list. Yes, yeah, Q, although not in the best of both worlds, Q's the one that introduced us to the Borg. So the Borg were coming because they knew we were here because of Q. So yeah, Q did have involvement in that, absolutely. Um, all right, so this next thing I want to talk about, and I just want to see what you guys think. There's no right or wrong answers, but I want to do a poll, and what I want to do is I want to ask, do you have the capacity to forgive someone who has taken something very important from you? And I'm specifically going to say the death of a loved one. And we're going to say, could you forgive someone for killing your loved one? Okay, and you're going to have two no's. You can have no or no, maybe someday, but not today. And what that means is you're working on it. Or just flat no, or just flat yes. Um, and then we may do a couple more, but let's go ahead and run that one and see what happens. So, could you forgive someone? I think I spelled it wrong. Who cares? Could you forgive someone for killing a loved one? And now I understand it's a little different. It shouldn't be different, but it is. Was it a drunk driver? Was it a 30-year-old drunk driver that just got too drunk one night and ran into your loved one and killed them? Or was it a guy that took a sniper rifle and went up on the roof while your loved one was speaking at an event? I don't know. That's pretty tough. But I will tell you this, I'm trying to be able to say yes. I want to say yes. Because if you just, I've thought a lot about what she said, dude. I've thought a lot about what she said. It's universal. It's just like being an absolutist with the Constitution. Well, this is kind of being an absolutist with the Bible. And what it says is, hey, you forgive. It's godlike to forgive. It's devil-like to hate. I know I'm not saying it in the words they like to use or whatever. I don't care. It's the meaning. If you're forgiving someone and you're moving on and you're trying to let everybody have what's left of their life in the best light possible, that's godly. If you hate people and you just spend the rest of your life gritting your teeth and hating and being upset and never being happy, taking revenge if possible, that's not godly. That's not positive energy. And I'm trying really hard with this one. Because I do believe that it's true that we have to learn to forgive. I really do. And looking at the poll, it looks like a lot of you guys are having the same problems I am. It's difficult to forgive, isn't it? And of course, again, I know I didn't lay down an absolute scenario. Some of you might answer thinking, well, I'm talking about a Charlie Kirk type situation. Somebody else may have answered, well, you said a drunk driver. There is a difference, but still, you would need to be able to forgive both an intentional killing and a non-intentional killing. Hey, Henry, godly might be overrated. Hey, correct? You may be correct. I don't know, but it sure has got me thinking this week. I mean, I'm not getting the Bible out and going to church on Sunday, but there's nothing wrong with with all of us thinking about this kind of stuff and reckoning with it in our own brain. And if you need to, help others reckon with it. If you need help reckoning with it, go to church. Go to do whatever makes you feel good about it. Um, Junior, I agree. That is the logic that I'm using. Is if I can forgive, then that lightens my soul. I don't care what it does to him. He has to deal with his maker when he gets there. It's me. When it comes to forgiveness, it's not about him. It's about you. And these are the logic points that I keep running through in my head when I'm not sleeping at night. If I don't forgive somebody, it doesn't hurt them. It hurts me. Because I live there. Every day I go there. And it's funny, we just mentioned it, but Ben Sisko's had a hard time. Captain Sisko had a hard time for many years forgiving what happened on his ship with his wife. And I don't think he never fully forgives. And then when he's in the wormhole, and the wormhole aliens are talking to him, and they're saying, "Why do you live here?" And they keep bringing him back to the ship when he realized his wife was dead. They kept bringing him back to that point because these are non-linear aliens. It gets a little complicated anyway. And he says, "What do you mean?" It's because in his mind, he kept every day going back there. Every minute he would go back there to that moment in time. He couldn't let it go. He couldn't forgive. He couldn't move on. And the wormhole aliens kept asking him, "But you live here. Your brain is here." And he finally understood what they meant. He never let it go. He lived in that moment for the rest of his life to that next moment. And it's funny, we brought that up and it actually fits perfectly with this discussion right now. Because Ben Sisko had to learn how to move past his wife's death. Just like the rest of us have to do if we lose a loved one. And it could be difficult. You might have lost them to murder or to DUI or to a tree falling on them, and you don't even know who to be mad at. But you still have to forgive the universe. You've got to forgive all that is. So I don't know. I have a hard time with this one too. I don't want to get preachy on here. Well, Junior, that's true. I think that's important. That if we can forgive everybody, I mean, it's even in the Lord's Prayer, forgive those who trespass, and and forgive those who trespass upon you, this and that. When we think about that kind of stuff, um, if we want absolution and forgiveness, then we have to give absolution and forgiveness. That's that energy you have to live in. I'm starting to think a lot about this stuff. I think it's important. Um, well, studies are one of those things. They'll give you an indication, a direction. Um, well, you got a point. I'm not going to say you're wrong. Um, you can forgive without ever forgetting. You can forgive and still not trust. I have someone in my family that I forgive, but I still don't trust. Um, Trust is a separate thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But I found so 60%, so about 80% of you say no, and 20% say yeah, you could forgive someone. Um, hey Heath, what's up, man? Yeah, I have not felt good today, but I'm hanging in there. I'm believe it or not, I can't bring mom with me, so that kind of bugs me. But I am coming up. I'm coming up. Everything looks good. I've made all the arrangements at work, and I am probably. I got to talk to you about the exact dates and times, but it looks now I was going to come up on the first and stay through the ninth, I think, up at my cabin. And then we could go, that would give us that Sunday to go to the Ham Fest, and it would also give us some other days to go out and work radios and stuff. Um, well, I agree, Galactic. I agree with that for sure. Um, yeah. All right, so but yeah, I'm definitely coming up. I have to winterize. I have to do a few things up there, a little bit of paperwork in town. No big deal, but I got to go up there anyway, and I'm not going to drive all the way up there for 2 days and drive back. If I'm driving up there, by God, I'm going to stay a little while because it may be a little while before I get back up there with everything going on with mom and all that. So I think that's what I'm probably going to do. Um, I could leave that Friday if I need to, so we could go Saturday. I don't know. We'll figure all that out. But just we'll talk by phone here. Um, all right, guys. Is there anything else you want to discuss here, real quick? Yes, I got that. I got your email with your phone number. I'll try to do it this weekend. I'll try to give you a call and find out what's a good time to call. I'll probably send a text through first and let you know it's me and find out when it's a good time to call. That's how I like to do it. Um, I stay so busy that I even schedule my phone calls a lot of times. Call me between 7 and 8, and I'll be able to talk to you for a few minutes. Uh, yeah. But yep, I'm definitely looking at definitely coming up. I have to, so it's one of those things. And I think I'm gonna buy a rig. I have this really big rig, and I've got this FT100 that's not putting out any wattage. The Shack in the Box part, the VHF UHF, seems to be working pretty good. It even does the PL tone and everything, but the HF side is putting out like 3 watts, 5 watts. It's like QRP. So I think my one of my finals or something went out in it. I made, I'm not lying, 20,000 contacts with this radio on FT8, FT4, a couple other modes. I and this was an old beat up used rig when I bought it for 200 bucks from the swap shop, and then I ran its wheels off for 20,000 contacts, and the finals finally went out in it. So I have no complaints about this little Yaesu radio, and it still works. I can still dial up UHF, VHF. It works fine. So it's just all it is the HF stuff's weak. Still receives great. So it's still a good radio. It still has plenty of purpose, but I want one to go out and work POTA with. I want that, like that one you had on your dashboard. That something like that was nice. Um, I think if I brought 500 bucks with me to the Ham Fest, I could probably get me a nice rig to work POTA, and that's kind of what I want to buy a used rig. So anyway, well, thanks, Henry. I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, yesterday when I'm sick, I'm sick. I'm not doing well right now, but I'm trying to come on as much as I can. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know if I'm having a health episode. This COVID, I did 3.5 weeks ago. I had a COVID. You guys know I was out of the show for 3 or 4 days. I was out of work for a week, plus the weekends on both sides. Ended up being 9 days. I was down with this fever and everything. I still managed to do some of my shows on here because I'm here alone, so there's no one to infect. And but I was out of work for five. I missed 5 shows at work, and so I it did this last time, and it's doing it again. It's just my whole body's out of whack. So yeah, it does this. My whole body is just out of whack. So anyway, other than that, I did do that live drive last weekend. The numbers are really low, and so I'm probably not going to do too many more of those right now. You go, boy. Yeah, don't come in that much. This one, I don't know if you guys have ever seen him, but this is my Daddy Kitty. We just named him Daddy Kitty. He come wandering up here with a horribly broken back leg, and we had decided to catch him and take him and have him put down. That's how bad it was. The leg was hanging off in the back. So we tried to catch him a few times, and we couldn't catch him. And we were feeding him. We were giving him as much food as he wants, and we were trying to get him. We couldn't get him. Then finally he disappeared, and we figured, well, he went off to die. He's probably infected. So he went off to die. So I figured, he's gone because that leg was bad. And he showed back up 3 months later, walking on that leg like nothing was wrong with it. And we're like, what? Look at, he's got a beautiful tail. I'm like, Daddy, what happened? My God. We didn't even have a name for him back then. So we called him BLC, Broken Leg Kitty. They get very original names around here. So we're like, where have you seen BLC, BLC, BLC? Well, then someone brought us a mama and 2 kittens. And we take in, we don't do it much, but we do take in mamas with kittens. That was our thing. Or kittens with no mama that have to be bottle fed. And so we took them in, and he immediately made friends with the mama kitty, and by the next day he's laying there with these little baby kittens all in his furry belly. He's got the most fur of any cat, and he's just all hair. He's just all hair, right, Daddy? Say hi. And he loved them little babies. He would clean the babies. Him and the mama would take care of the babies, and it was incredible. It was we don't know what, because he's a male. Now we had him fixed. Once we got him and he came back around, we got him fixed, and we don't know why. He just wanted to raise them 2 little babies. So one of them still lives here, and they're still best friends, him and Tony. And we call him Tony's dad, although it's an adopted thing. So since then, we've had about 9 different kittens. Most of them have been adopted out. We normally find forever homes, but Littles and Ted, we've got a few of them left. Every time we would bring a kitten into this house, the 4 we found behind the dumpster, the one that was found during the rainstorm at the gas station, all these cats that end up at our house, he would take care of them. He got the rank Daddy Kitty. That's right under Admiral. It's good rank. And the reason he's got that rank is because he takes care of every little kitten that comes in this place. Every little kitten we've ever had for 10 years now, this cat has raised. He loves them. He licks them. He takes care of them. He cleans them. He carries them around in his mouth. The mamas trust him with him. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. And so he's got the moniker Daddy Kitty. We dropped the broken leg kitty thing, and he's just Daddy Kitty now. Isn't that right? Big orange thing. But he's good. He doesn't like inside much. He does. He prefers to be outside. But he does have a cat door, and he can come in as much as he wants. Um, yeah, he's a good one. As long as you're scratching his neck, one of his back legs is constant. That's what you're hearing. Anytime I scratch him, his back leg starts going. You can't help it. It's like a reflex. Isn't that right, Dino? Such a good cat. He is. He's a lover, too. He loves people. He loves little kitties more, though. And it's funny, too, because he'll shack up with the mama. He'll be best friends with the mama. Once the kitties grow up and leave, he's like, ah, bitch, I don't care. I'm like, weren't you guys an item? No, it was just for the kids. Tortitude. Uh-oh. Yeah. He's a tabby, I guess you would technically say. He's a long-haired tabby. And mostly orange. Big sloppy thing. Like I said, we were catching him to put him down, and we couldn't get him. And that's because God didn't want him put down. God had a plan for this cat. I'm going to tell you something. This cat has raised more kittens, and he ain't responsible for any of them. I mean, none of them were his, because we had him fixed long before he took care of any of them kitties. But he just loves little kitties. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Cats are the best. Cats are the best. I got 3 in my room. 2 of them live in there pretty much full time. Although a couple times a week I bring them outside for an hour and watch them. They're still young. They're still 2, and I got a hard road out here on the side of the house, so I'm very careful. I've had 2 or 3 of my cats killed out on that hard road, and I'm very careful. I don't want to let them out too soon, and I let them in. They have the run of the house 3 or 4 days a week during the day, and they come out at least once a week. They come outside, and then in my room they got all these perches up in my windows, so they all have little kitty condos so they can see out. Isn't that right, Daddy? Yeah. He's always running around the yard. Yesterday, he was running around the yard while I was at work, and I kept coming up on the speaker going, Kitty, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he kept looking at like, where are you at? Where are you at? I love screwing with my cats. Let's see here. All right. Anything else, guys, before we let it go? I do. I do appreciate you guys, especially my regulars that come in all the time. And if you don't have the wrench yet, you'll get one in a few weeks. Just keep coming. If you keep coming in, I'll see that you're coming in all the time, and then we'll do it. I don't do a lot of moderation, but I do like for my friends that I know to have a wrench so they can put links in. That's the main thing, because we don't do a lot of moderation. Although if you're going to do name calling or racial slurring, you'll get your ass timed out. Yes, you can teach cats to use the toilet and even flush, but it's a job. I don't know. I don't know if I've never done it, but I know I've seen a cat use a toilet one time. And I was like, when the cat got done and flushed its own turd down, and it turned around and it looked at us and it ran out, I was just like, where's that cat been my whole life? There you go. I had most of my cats lived to between 15 and 19. That seems to be pretty common. Would you are taking me off the air? Um, I had I had a big fluffy brown tabby cat. Her name was Fluffy, and she was my first, well, kind of my second cat. Uh, she lived 22 years, and I had a cat named Garfield that lived 21, and then I had a Queezer, my Queezer cat. She was a brown, or I'm sorry, a gray tabby. She lived to be 16, almost 17, 16 and a half. So yeah, I've had some long livers. We've got one in the neighborhood now that's kind of a bus stop kitty that lives at 4 different houses. She's 15, 16 now, and they get that old. This one here is, I think, 10 or 11, 12 at this point. Um, my cats usually live to be pretty old. Uh, uh, all right. There is one alert here. Two alerts. We've got one in Virginia right here. Let me just check these out real quick here. If the cat will let me. You gonna let me? We've got this one right here near Newport News. There you go. That's coming right through Newport News, and then that's going to go right offshore. And this area may be dealing with a tropical storm in a few days. And then the other one we've got is over here, way out in Arizona. That's a nice little cell popping up right there. Daddy, damn it. All right, that's what we've got. Is there any Tennessee storms? There's certainly no warnings out here right now. Let's see. There's the Nashville radar. Nothing but clutter. Memphis. Maybe it was Memphis. No. No, I don't see really anything going on up there. There is some. There is some storms down here north of Birmingham, south of Huntsville. Or if you're from the south, it's Birmingham. Oh, it's Birmingham. All right. So there you go, guys. That's what we've got. Not a lot going on tonight. But thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. I will be back tomorrow night. Come hell or high water, I hope to come back tomorrow night. And we'll do another show from here. I, I'm so scatterbrained I can hardly even I can hardly even think what's going on here. All right, so there we go. Um, what is it, kitty? All right, so there we go. All right, guys, live from Southwest Florida. This is the Starship Studios. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm your host here on the Sights and Sounds of Earth. And we will be back tomorrow night for another installment. Hopefully, there'll be something going on that we can cover. It is kind of rough on these nights where there's not much to cover, but hey, when we do have something to cover, I'll stay with you guys till 5 in the morning, like we did on the tsunami there in Hawaii and all that. So, all right, so there you go. We'll do it. And tomorrow is what? Tomorrow's Friday already? Is it really? My God, tomorrow's Friday already. I'm driving to Venice in the morning. I got to get up at 6:30 a.m. Driving to Venice and then coming back working and then coming here and doing a show with Daddy Kitty. Isn't that right, buddy? Yeah, all right, there you go. Yes, yes. They are so demanding. What are you going to do, right? He's crazy, this one. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures 7-3s. Have a good night and a safe tomorrow, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern.